Hello everyone, so I'm back with my book haul, and yes, some of this stuff was purchased recently, others a few months ago. If I sat here and showed you all the books I bought the past year, we'd be here till Christmas. So I just picked out a few of them here. Yeah, most of these books I did get at Book Outlet. Right now they're having, since Monday or so, man, I've just been on there quite a few times a day. They just keep really bringing in lots of different books, and they're all at least 50% off retail price. So yeah, I've been grabbing quite a few. So this one, okay, I'll start with these two. They're both kind of pirate books. And yeah, I was very happy, pleasantly surprised to see them on there because they're fairly recent releases, and Book Outlet had them on for a really good price. Millie, our guard dog. So I'm going to start with this one, and it's Deep as the Sea, Red as the Sky by Rita Chang Epic. And yeah, I really love the cover. So this is actually based on the true story of Shek Yung, a Chinese pirate queen. So she does go by different names. I think there's like 4 different names that she goes by. If you ever watch Watcher, it's a YouTube channel, and there's Ryan and Shane. They used to be hosts on BuzzFeed, and they used to do like investigations into past mysteries. They used to go into haunted places and investigate them. Now they have their own channel, Watcher, and they do a segment called Puppet History, and it's just a really fun way to learn about history. And they actually covered this pirate queen. So yeah, she's a fascinating character. Her husband was a very notorious pirate, and I think they met when he kidnapped her, basically, and she became his wife. He died in battle, and she quickly married the second in command because she didn't want to lose the power. They were a very successful pirate power couple, I guess you could say. They did very well, and she wanted to retain that power in that. So this kind of is like, this is a fictional account of her, it's just speculative fiction, but yeah, looking forward to that read. And this is another book that I was really happy to get my hands on because it's gotten such good reviews. All the booktubers that I do follow really like this one. And it's also another female pirate, and it's The Adventures of Amina El Sarafi. And this is by Shannon Chakraborty. I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher it, but anyway, that's the author. She did the City of Brass trilogy. So yeah, this has gotten such good reviews, and it's basically magic and mayhem on the high seas in this tale of pirates and sorcerers, forbidden artifacts, and ancient mysteries in one woman's determined quest to seize a final chance at glory and write her own legend. So yeah, the synopsis just sounds really good, and yeah, it's just gotten... People are really loving this, so I am so happy I got it for a very good price on Book Outlet. Alrighty, and now I know a lot of you don't follow my Winter's Home Sense Marshall hauls, so I'll just you may have seen this before in some of my hauls, but I've found this 6-book collection of Jane Austen. And there's 6 Jane Austen books for, I think it was $25. So just maybe a little bit over $4 each. And I just really like the covers on this. And they have Mansfield Park, Persuasion, just such pretty summery covers. Emma. Now I do have a copy of Emma, a special edition one, but I mean it was part of the set. So there's Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Northanger Abbey. So it's a really pretty set. And actually the past few times I have gone into like Home Sense, Winners, Marshalls, I still see this set there. They also have a set by the author of The Great Gatsby. So yeah, I thought that was a very good deal, and it's just a really beautiful set. And then now I bought this on Book Outlet back in the winter time, and then I was going to read it and I never got around to it. But this was during one of their $7.49 sales, where all books were like $7.49 or less. And it's just a beautiful illustrated book, so I'm definitely going to read it this winter. And it's called Above the Timberline. So yeah, it's a huge book for, like I said, just $7.49. So it takes place in the future, and Galen Singleton, the most renowned explorer of the Polaris Geographic Society, is lost in the frozen waste, and his estranged son is determined to find his father after receiving a note 6 months after he was last heard. So the illustrations in here are just absolutely gorgeous. So those are some of the illustrations. Now this is a story here, so it's very small font, but yeah, it's just illustrations that are just absolutely gorgeous. And there's the story there. So yeah, just a really, really beautiful, beautiful novel. So yeah, I can't wait to read this, but this definitely going to read this in the winter time. So I'm showing you this because I mean, Book Outlet sometimes have these really great sales, and well, their books are always on sale. But yeah, if you see this pop up, it's just a beautiful, beautiful edition. Okay, next is The Appeal by Janice Hallett. So I've heard quite a bit about this one. So she does murder mysteries in that. This is One Murder, 15 Suspects. Can you uncover the truth? And I believe this takes place in like a small village. A local theater group is in the midst of rehearsals when tragedy strikes. The family of the director, but anyway, yeah, it's just kind of like a murder mystery in that. So yeah, 15 suspects. Now the only thing about this book, I didn't realize it till I started flipping through it, but there's the cover, and it's upside down. I've never had that happen from a book from Book Outlet. Never. Never had that happen before. So yeah, I'm going to have to read it this way. But anyway, no big deal. If I'm out in public, people think I'm crazy reading a book upside down, but hey. Alrighty, and then this is The Librarian of Burned Books by Brianna Labuscus. And this takes place in Berlin. Originally starts in Berlin, 1933, then goes to Paris in 1936, and then New York in 1944. Yeah, this woman is actually, this author, American author. She's invited to Joseph Goebbels, who's a really nasty Nazi, and that's before the war and that, and then just what happens over the ensuing years and that. So that looked quite good. This is by Eleanor Shearer. This is River Sing Me Home. So this originally takes place in 1834. Britain outlawed slavery in 1834, and in Barbados, the master of this plantation has to announces to his slaves that, well, yeah, you're free, but you still have to stay for another 6 years to do apprenticeship. So basically, they're still slaves in that. But this one woman decides to escape, and she's desperate to find her children. 5 survived birth and were sold, and she's wondering if any of them are still alive, and she's going to go search for them. So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful cover. And then this is Ashton Hall, and I gotta say I was drawn to that cover. Anything like with a spooky gothic kind of mansion on there, I just love that. So this is Ashton Hall by Lauren Belfer. An American woman and her son stumble upon the dark history of a rambling English manor in this gripping novel. So yeah, when a relative falls ill, so Hannah and her young son go and spend the summer at Ashton Hall, a historic manor house outside Cambridge, England. And yeah, things happen. And this is The Anatomy of Death. So yeah, I do love medical history, and this, Dodie McClellan is England's first female autopsy surgeon, and she definitely has to prove herself. And suffragette, this is during the time of women's rights and suffragettes, and a woman is murdered, and she examines the body, and kind of a murder mystery, but she is actually a autopsy surgeon, so that sounds really good. I just love that kind of thing. Now these two books are by Claire Douglas, and I've heard such good reviews about this, so they were very inexpensive on Book Outlet, so I thought I'd pick them up. So this one is The Girls Who Disappeared, and this is in a rural Wiltshire town lies the Devil's Corridor. It's a haunted road that has witnessed eerie happenings. A few years ago, 4 girls were driving home and their car crashed, but only one girl was found. No one knows what happens to the other girls. And it's the 20th century of the tragedy, and a journalist comes to cover the case. And then this is The Couple at Number 9. So I've heard good things about this one. So this pregnant woman moves into this skeleton place with her boyfriend, and sets about with the renovations. They uncover 2 bodies. There's an investigation. One of the witnesses is Rose, who's in a nursing home with advanced Alzheimer's, and etc. So they did sound really good, and it got very good reviews. And this one I've heard so much about, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to finally get it. And it's The Lies of Loch Lamore. So yeah, let me know if you've read this. It's kind of like Oliver Twist meets fantasy. It's kind of a fantasy book. It's just about this orphan, and he dodges death and slavery. He becomes a thief under a con artist and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's supposed to be really, really good. So glad I finally got my hands on that one. And I do love reading books, history books, and it was, for some reason I'm really drawn to books about the plague, the 13th century plague, the 1666 plague. I don't know what it is, but this is The Master of Measham Hall. Yeah, I really like the cover on that. So it's 1665. It's been 5 years since King Charles returned from exile, and the English Civil War had finally ended, but Mr. Plague shows up, and Aletha is in a household as a lady's companion, but for whatever reason, she's cast out onto the plague-ridden streets of London. So there's militia out there, there's the plague out there. She meets this gentleman who's becomes a traveling companion. So yeah, I just, that part of history I'm just fascinated by. And this is The Holmes, and yeah, and again, anything with a creepy little house on there, I just love that. So this takes place in Scotland. Now I'm not sure if it's present day or what it is. 1,000 unwanted children live in the Holmes, a village of orphans in the rural lowlands of Scotland. And then she's growing up with her best friend Jonesy, and there is some murders on the site, and yeah, and they start to, these 2 young people start to investigate it. And now I read The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner, and I really did like it. So I did get the London Seance Society. So the occult seances were very popular in Victorian London. So two daring women hunt for truth and justice in the perilous art of conjuring the dead. So that takes place in 1873, and there's a lot of spiritualists who go from house to house to perform these seances in that. And then I believe there's a death in that. So yeah, anything Victorian, just, I love it. And this is by Barbara Davis, The Echo of Old Books. And this has gotten very good reviews. A pair of mysterious books, a doomed romance, and the echoes of love that never died. So Ashland is a rare book dealer. And she can actually, when she touches a book, I guess she can feel the presence of the previous owners, I think it is, like an emotional fingerprint. So she discovers this pair of beautifully bound volumes that appear to have never been published. So she looks more into these books and that. So yeah, it just sounded really quite good. Now, if you watch my channel enough, you know that I love the Veronica Speedwell mysteries that takes place in the 1880s. I just, Stoker and Veronica, my favorite couple in fiction. So Deanna Rayborn actually wrote Killers of a Certain Age, so this is kind of a standalone. And Billy, Mary Alice, and Helen and Natalie are four assassins. So they worked as in this elite network of assassins for 40 years, but now they're like 60 years old, and no one wants to hire them anymore, and they find out that someone's out to kill them. So yeah, hopefully it'll have some sense of humor like her other books. This is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and I do have a couple of her other books I still need to read. But Dr. Moreau, it was a famous book. So Dr. Moreau is a scientist who combines humans and animals and makes these kind of nasty creatures. And this just follows along with the daughter and some things that happen on the island. This is by Karen Brooks. So she does very good historical novels. I did read the one book, and it just hit a blank on what that was. But this is chunky. This is a really chunky book. This is like over 700 pages, and it's the Lady Brewer of London. And so it's 1405, and the daughter of a wealthy merchant finds her family bankrupt when her father's ship is swept away at sea. So she has to find a way to provide for herself and her siblings. So she takes over her late mother's business, and that's brewing ale. But yeah, there's just a lot of, I heard this is very sad, very moving. But yeah, I remember the one book, which I can't remember the name of, but yeah, I do remember really enjoying that. And this is Spells for Forgetting by Adrian. Oops, sorry, I just had to cool off there. Spells for Forgetting by Adrian Young. This synopsis sounds so good. So Emery's life changed forever the night her best friend was found dead, and the love of her life, August, was accused of murdering her. So years later, she's working on this island, and she's running the family business called Blackwood's Tea Shop, Herbal Tonics, and Tea Leaf Readings. But when the island, rooted in folklore and magic, begins to show signs of strange happenings, Emery knows that something is coming. So yeah, it just sounded so good, that summary. And then these, I did get Legends and Lattes. So yeah, I've heard such good things about this one. It's a cozy mystery. I guess there's not a mystery. It's just a cozy book. There's not a lot of plot, I heard, but the characters are wonderful. And there's a sequel coming out later in the fall. So yeah, I gave into the hype and I got that one. So these two are kind of graphic novels that I got off Book Outlet, and this is Tinder, and yeah, not the dating site, by Sally Gardner. And the illustration, there's so many illustrations in here. And yeah, like every other page or so has has illustrations in it, and it just sounded so good. So it just says, wounded in battle, Otto Hudenbis defies death and finds himself on a journey to a realm of dark magic and mystery. He meets Sapphire, brave of heart and pure of spirit, and learns the powers of Tinderbox and the secret of the wolves. So it's kind of like a fairy, like a dark fairy tale. But yeah, this will be perfect for October. And then this is A Monster Calls. So this is a multi-award-winning novel by Patrick Ness. And this is the actual illustrated version of it I found on Book Outlet. And yeah, just amazing, amazing illustrations in this book. The monster showed up after midnight, as they do, but it isn't the monster Connor's been expecting. He's been expecting the one from his nightmare, the one he's had nearly every night since his mother started her treatments. This monster is something different, something ancient, something wild. It wants the most dangerous thing of all from Connor. So yeah, that sounds so good. And then the last one is The Birdcage by Eve Chase, and a beautiful cover. And this takes place on a windswept cliffside in Cornwall, England, the seaside home of the Finch family. 20 years later, they kind of live separate lives, and then 20 years later they came back. They're summoned back to Rock Point. Yeah, Cornwall, the coast of Cornwall, yeah. Read it. So yeah, that's it. That's my some more of the books I've collected. So I do have a few more books coming from Book Outlet. There's just such good prices and titles that I really wanted to try out. So anyway, that's it. I hope I gave you some good ideas for some books and that to look into. And so everyone enjoy and happy reading, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.